Hey, what is up guys, welcome back to the channel and welcome back to Gran Turismo 7. Of course it's that time of the week once again when the weekly challenges go ahead and refresh, which means we've got 5 races up ahead of us to complete for various rewards. Now in terms of this week, once again it's purely monetary gain, however I'm pretty sure next week we'll start seeing some of the better rewards come back. Now in terms of the events, as always I'll run them on the hardest difficulty and try not to cheese it too much. So let's head over and have a look what's on offer this week. So here we go, August week 4, this one will run until the 29th of August 2024, so plenty of time to get this one done. Now in terms of the first event of the week, that is Tokyo Expressway east clockwise with the Japanese 4-wheel drive challenge 600. We'll then move over to the American Clubman Cup 700 at the high speed ring reverse. Then we have the Porsche Cup. Of course this one is going to be set at the Nürburgring Nordschleife layout before moving over to 24-hour Le Mans for the Hypercar Parade. And to finish off we have the best possible event returning once again as a special event, that is the Autpolis International Racing Course with the All Japan GT Car Championship. That one is limited time and definitely my personal favourite. In terms of rewards this week, it's 100,000 credits, 200,000 credits and 500,000 credits, earning you way over 1,000,000 credits in around about 40 to 45 minutes. So let's head over to event number 1, which is of course the Japanese 4-wheel drive challenge 600 over at Tokyo Expressway east clockwise. So of course with this being the typical starter event of the week, it is going to be on the shorter side. So this one is going to be a 2-lap sprint around the circuit, so of course we don't need to worry about tyres or fuel. Let's get into it. So here we go, of course we're using the same exact car that we used last week for this event category. That one was over at the Nürburgring sprint layout, and once again it's a very similar feel here. Of course it does have the more street race vibe, with this being a very closed off street circuit. Now in terms of the event itself and the track, if you've been doing the Tokyo grind for many years at this point, then honestly you should be comfortable here. There's no weather to worry about, no fuel, no tyre life, just a pure sprint race. Now there's 10 opponents on track including yourself, so there's 9 cars to get up and get past. Really it's not that difficult, there's quite a spread between them all. Again, it's all about just picking your place to get the pass done, keeping it as clean as possible and try not to absolutely clatter the AI when they typically slow down a little bit too much through some of the corners. Again, if you do have a very high top speed on a car, then honestly you should absolutely breeze this event. That big long straight going on for absolutely ever makes this overall a pretty easy one. Over 11-second gap in the end of 2 laps. So that's going to be tick number 1 of the week and award number 1 of the week. 55,500 credits with the clean race bonus upon completing this event. So not too bad to get us started, and 100k on top of that. Let's move over to event number 2 this week. So we're going to be staying in Japan once again for the high speed ring reverse. This is for the American Clubman Cup 700. However, just bear in mind, I'm pretty sure one of the reverse layout events for high speed ring does have wet weather capabilities, and I'm pretty sure it's this one, so just bear that in mind and just err on the side of caution when it comes to your car choice. So I went for the Rampage here. This is one of the cars that I feel has a massive improvement on the new physics. It felt fantastic to drive around here. Now in terms of my event, I didn't get any wet weather at all, but I am pretty certain this one can contain that wet weather. So just bear that in mind, that it may start raining during. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure I do remember, you know, one of the high speed ring reverse layout events actually having that wet weather at some point, and again I'm pretty sure it was random as well. Again, I can't be certain if it was this one, but I'm pretty sure it was. Now in terms of the AI themselves, they are relatively quick. Now of course you're not going to need a car that needs too much in terms of downforce. It's all about speed at the high speed ring and you should cater for that. Now the Roadster Shop Rampage that I've got here does have a good mix of both, for the mid section, which is a little bit twistier, and of course for the high speed sections, which is of course a 180 mph top speed in this thing, which is plenty enough considering it does have insane acceleration out of the corners, making it fairly hard for the AI to catch. However, there is a couple of them that can cause you a few troubles and are very quick once they break free from the pack. Just bear that one in mind. That's tick number 2 of the week. 65,000 credits, unfortunately not getting a clean race bonus there. So let's leave Japan for a few moments and head over to Germany for the Nürburgring Nordschleife Porsche Cup event. This is a differing conditions event, so it will more than likely go from dry to wet during your run. So just bear that in mind. There is a cap of 650 pp as well, so I do recommend road tyres which can handle both dry and wet conditions. So my car of choice here was a GT3 RS. Of course it does have the DRS feature. Now in terms of the event itself, it will start off typically in dry conditions, and I believe that no matter what it will start raining at some point. Hence why I recommend a set of road tyres for this one. Don't go on slicks because you're not going to have the best time at all. Now honestly, in terms of the Nordschleife, it can be very difficult to get any overtakes done here. Honestly, it's all about just picking your timings, pick the AI off one by one, and to be honest, something else that you need to bear in mind, there's a huge performance gap between these cars. The cars at the back honestly really aren't that much of a trouble, but as you start working your way towards the front running 911s, that is where it's going to get a little bit tricky. They are insanely quick, however they are inconsistent once that weather starts coming in. So again, just bear that in mind, that you're probably going to have to be on your toes towards the end of this race, because you're going to be battling the raining conditions, and you're also going to be battling some of the faster AI that do have a typical major gap. Now once I got to the front running Porsche, honestly this is where it became a pretty tricky and pretty awesome battle with the AI. In fact, it was one of my best battles with the AI that I think I've ever had in GT7. Coming into the last section, it was a case of they had the advantage on the straights, I had the advantage through the corners. Again, even with DRS open and running in the slip, I just couldn't quite keep up. So just bear in mind that these cars are absolute rocket ships in a straight line, especially those leading vehicles. However, it was all about a last minute dive for the win, and that's exactly what we did, taking advantage of our brakes and grip and just trying to throw the car in, make it stick and take that win, and that's exactly what we did. Honestly, this was a fantastic battle that went on for the last third of the event. Really enjoyed this one, especially with those differing conditions. So that is going to be tick number 3 of the week, and of course we are going to get another reward for that. Now in terms of the event itself, it's 78k with the clean race bonus. We also get our daily driving marathon, which was a 4-star, and of course 200k on top of that. So we've gone from a pretty tricky event to honestly one of the easy events in the game. This is the Hypercar Parade over at Le Mans. Now of course all you need here is a very quick hypercar, and it really is just a parade. Really the AI aren't going to put up much of a fight, it's more show than actual full-blown racing here. So I chose a car that I've not used in a very long time, and I was pleasantly surprised just how good this car feels under the new physics. Now I've not made any changes to it, I believe it's pretty much standard. In terms of the car itself, it's very quick, especially with that hybrid boost kicking in. Now in terms of the AI, as mentioned, they're not going to put up much of a fight, it very much is a parade. You'll kind of go from one group of cars to the next, no problems at all. Maybe it's just me, but 3 laps with 16 cars on the track just felt a bit overkill, considering it's supposed to be the Hypercar Parade, and of course there is some scattered throughout the event. A lot of the cars in this grid are really underpowered in comparison to a lot of the others. It does create very big gaps between the cars, and even once you get to the what should have been the tougher AI, they're really not that difficult overall. Again, as long as you've got decent acceleration and top speed, you should be able to absolutely whoop this event. As you can see, I got to the last section on the first lap and I'd already overtaken the Ferrari Enzo. So at that point, it was all about keeping it clean. I managed to pull out over a 30-second gap in the end as the AI was starting to sort of mix themselves up and keep racing each other. So a very easy win overall. I don't think anyone will have many problems here. The Hypercar Parade is pretty much always like this, where it is a typical parade and not really a race. Tick number 4 of the week, 172,500 credits with the clean race bonus. On to the final event of the week. This is of course the brand new special event for this week over at Autpolis International Racing Course. It's the return of my personal favourite, the All Japan GT Car Championship. Previously, we've seen this take place at Fuji and Suzuka. This time it's Autpolis, probably the weakest of the 3 tracks. Very much exactly the same as the others. So if you've tried those, you know exactly what to expect. Now, honestly, I'm not going to have to tell you too much here. There's no tyres or fuel. That is because there's a very much a big mixture of road cars and race cars, so it would be entirely unfair if it was turned on. However, where the enjoyment from this event comes from is the versatility of it. If you want to build up a replica Super GT, GT500 machine, GT300 machine, etc., then honestly you can do that. You can have a great time with this event. There's multiple different ways to tackle this. So for me, I went for the GT500 NSX. It's one of my favorite cars in the game, but just be aware there's very much a fine line. It's a very randomized event. So what may be a very quick AI one time that might pull out a massive lead in terms of sort of like the Group 3, Group 2 McLaren F1s might end up starting at the back the next time, meaning it's going to be stuck in the pack and not really going to trouble you. So it's a very, very random event. And again, one thing I do appreciate is that randomness. I also do massively appreciate the fact that you can go ahead and tackle this in almost any single way. Whether you want to go for a road car build, turn to a race car, or if you want to go just straight up for a race car, you can tackle this in many, many different ways. I massively appreciate that. So you're going to see a nice mixture of road cars and race cars, hence why the fuel and tyres is turned off. Again, in terms of the fine line for tuning, you have to be careful not to overpower yourself. I just put the upgrades on the NSX and honestly I absolutely flew away from the AI, whereas if I'd have ran this exact same car in a different run, if the Group 2 McLarens were starting at the front, it would have been a much tougher overall event. So again, there's a whole heap of randomness to it, so feel free to just kind of rinse and repeat and find different ways to tackle this event over the week. That is probably the best thing about it. Really enjoying this one. As you can see, we're going to finish this in around about 15 minutes or so after 8 laps completed. 150,000 credits, unfortunately not getting the clean race bonus, but of course getting the 500k ticket for completing all 5 events. So let's open up our rewards for this week. We've got our daily driving marathon up first, which is of course once again the typical 4-star. Now I don't necessarily get any luck on these, but this time I actually did. I did manage to pick up the Subaru WRX. This is the Isle of Man edition. If you've ever seen that video, it's fantastic to watch. We're then going to add all the credits to the account, so 100k, 200k, and of course finally 500k. Well over 1 million credits in around about 40 minutes of your time. And that's going to be it for this week's weekly challenges. A massive thank you to you guys watching at home, and a massive thank you to all of my channel members. If you do want to join, honestly it is massively appreciated and does help me between uploads. Anyway, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. Take care guys. Peace.